Welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show we have Lance Nelson with the Compact Ministry in Hot Springs, Arkansas. So don't go away. We'll be right back. Hey, welcome to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. I'm your host, Perry Black, and on this show we have a very special guest, Lance Nelson, who is involved with Compact in Hot Springs. Now, Lance, help me out here. Many years ago, Compact wasn't called Compact, it was called?
Compact. Compact is an umbrella name that covers a lot of our ministries.
Yeah.
Our most famous ministry and our oldest ministry is Hillcrest Children's Home.
And that's what most people probably that are not presently in Hot Springs remember, the Hillcrest Home right there on the 270. Is that called the bypass?
Yeah, well, it's right there on Malvern Avenue.
Yeah.
Sits right there on Malvern.
So if you're coming into Hot Springs on Highway 70 or coming from Malvern on 270, if you just stay on 270, you'll see Compact right there.
Right, yeah.
Y'all have a beautiful campus.
Yeah, thank you.
I was dealing with the city many years ago. I'm an investor in real estate and construction and so forth. And for some reason, I was at the city, and some of the Compact guys, could have been you, were there dealing with something that y'all were probably building or renovating or something. And the city always wants in your business. Have you noticed that?
Always.
Y'all have pretty good friends downtown town hall?
We do.
Yeah.
We found a lot of favor there.
Yeah. And it's important, you know, when you're playing on somebody else's field to find out what their rules are. We're building a new school here, and we're dealing with the city on a daily basis, including today. And the city's been good to us, and we've always tried to partner with our city to improve whatever services the city provides, like fire department, police department, that kind of stuff. Tell me a little bit about you. Where'd you grow up, Lance? Are you an Arkansan? Are you from around here?
I'm a transplant. I'm originally from Oklahoma. I was born and raised in northwest Oklahoma, which is very different than Arkansas.
Northwest?
Yeah.
Are you were in the Panhandle?
Not quite, but real close.
Name of the
right there.
town?
Woodward. Woodward is home for me.
Very big town?
No, it's sort of a hub out there, an agricultural and shopping hub for that part of the state, but 15,000 people, something like that.
Did you go to high school there?
I did. I was born and raised there. I was a couple, 2 or 3 generations born and raised there.
You have Assembly God background?
That's right.
Did you go to Assembly God Church growing up?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. I was raised up in First Assembly of God in Woodward, Oklahoma, and was there until I graduated high school.
How big of a church is that? Back in the day you were there.
Well, when I was there, a few hundred,
Yeah.
probably 200-300. I think it's been as high as 500 in years past.
Probably a tight-knit community then, if it's a farming and rural community, huh?
Oh yeah, yeah. It seems like people kind of stick and stay there.
Did you grow up on a farm?
No, I did not.
You're a city boy.
I guess you'd say that.
How big was the town?
About 15,000.
Well, that ain't much of a city then.
No, I think my high school had about 170 people in it, which is a big high school for that part of the state.
Yeah. I joke all the time about being a country boy. I grew up in northeast Arkansas in Jonesboro. Born in southeast Missouri in a little community called Malden. It was a Cotton Belt Railroad hub. My grandfather was a conductor on the railroad for 50 plus years. So how'd you make your way from Woodward?
Woodward.
You
almost said it like the natives.
Yeah.
They say Woodward.
Yeah, down there at that Woodward, Oklahoma.
So you got it.
So how'd you make your way from Oklahoma working this direction?
Well, my whole, I was a pastor. I was called to ministry when I was just in junior high. Really.
All right, well, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll get to pastor in a second. Tell me, how'd you come to faith then? Because you were raised going to church, but that's not enough. You know as well as I do. So at what point did you come to know Jesus personally then?
Well, sooner or later, your parents' faith has got to be your faith. You got to kind of internalize that.
Yeah.
And for me, I never knew any other way.
Yeah.
So I still remember being about 6 years old, and my mother was praying with my older brother on the. We were putting us to bed one night, and she sensed he was ready to give his heart to the Lord, and she thought I was too young, you know, and so she's convinced. She was sharing the gospel with him, and said, "Would you like to pray?" And he said yes. I said, "Well, me too, Mom. I want to too." And, and so I remember giving my heart to the Lord at that time, and there never was any other season.
And then at 14.
Somewhere in that neighborhood.
Well, you must have been at a camp or a vacation Bible.
No, it was a Sunday night service.
Sunday night.
I was sitting in church on a Sunday night, and my pastor preached a message about giving your whole life to Jesus and following Him wherever He leads. And I just felt that nudge in my heart to respond, and went down there and prayed at the altar. And my pastor sensed it in me. Matter of fact, he sensed it so strong that he said, "Well, I'll tell you what. If you'll take these courses, I'll purchase these courses, and you can go after some credentials with the Assemblies of God."
Wow, that's cool.
I was 15 years old when they granted me credentials. You can't do it anymore. I think it's my fault. I think
we need to revisit
it was a bad idea.
What was that guy thinking? But it sounded like it stuck.
It did. It did. I
so
was
when
given
did
some
you
great
step
opportunities.
into? Did you go to Waxahachie?
I did. I went to Bible college down there in Waxahachie, Texas, and I actually skipped a year of high school because, hey, the world's going to hell and they need to hear some good preaching.
In 1973, my wife and I moved to Texas, moved to Dallas to go to Christ for the Nations, because I said the same thing. Here, I've been a Christian just a few months, and I said, man, Jesus is coming back. I don't have time to go to Bible school.
We can't mess around.
He may come back before I can get to Bible school. Yeah. And I'm just shocked. I graduated in '75 from Bible school, and he's still not back, but he's closer to coming now than he was a while ago.
Closer now. Yeah, that's what happened with me. I took a year of summer school in high school so that I'd get down there quicker. I was 17 when I went down there to Bible college, and got finished as quick as I could.
Is that a 4-year school?
It was, yeah.
So you have a degree in what?
My degree is in pastoral ministries, church ministries, with a minor in pastoral ministries. And that was years later, after this coming to this season of my life, I went back to seminary and got a master's degree in pastoral leadership.
Yeah.
But yeah, at that time, I just got my bachelor's and went into ministry.
Well, we got 54 seconds. I don't normally do this in this segment, and sometimes don't even do it in the show, but I want you to look over here at this camera and just share why anybody who happens to be viewing this show at 11:07 p.m. on a Thursday night needs to strongly consider, even though they may go to church all the time, just like you growing up, should just come to a faith in Jesus Christ. You got 30 seconds. Why should they do that? And how can they do that?
Oh, there's just no other way. Jesus has completely transformed my life, and I can't even imagine some of the difficult things that I've had to walk through in my life if I'd had to do that without the Lord. I wouldn't even want to consider where I'd be if I'd had to walk through those hard things without the Lord. So I'd say, man, just give Him everything. Give Him all the pieces and let Him make something out of it. Oh,
way to go. Hey, we're going to take a break. We'll be right back and find out what Jesus is doing in your life and what He's doing in ours.
Compact Family Services is committed to securing a bright future for vulnerable children, teens, and families through a broad continuum of services. Whenever possible, Compact provides preventative services with the hope of keeping families intact. However, in some cases, foster and residential care services are needed. When we receive a child into our care, we make it our priority to meet their spiritual, physical, and emotional needs. When we're able to send a child to camp, provide clothing for them, or offer them a meal with other children in a family-style cottage environment, or provide a safe place for a child to enjoy a fun afternoon at the campus pool or playground, we are giving them an opportunity for healing and growth. Our campus also maintains a maternity home for teen girls who find themselves pregnant and a desire to keep their child or receive help in order to have a loving family adopt their child. In just the last 5 years, Compact has served almost 700 children with the redeeming love of Jesus Christ. Partner with us to redeem more vulnerable children and families through compassionate action to the glory of God.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Our special guest is Lance Nelson with Compact Ministries in Hot Springs, right there on the Malvern what?
Malvern Avenue.
Malvern Avenue. I was going to call it street, road,
it works.
bypass. Sometimes you need to contact Lance and say, hey, I'd like to come see what you are doing to help children in Garland County. But technically, y'all not just helping children in Garland County, because like Second Chance Youth Ranch, children come from all over the state.
All
don't
over, yeah, they do. Mm-hmm.
And you guys have been in ministry there. How long is Compact and Hillcrest? How long has it been around?
This fall, I guess it'll be the end of September, we will celebrate our 80th birthday. Whew. So 1944.
Wow. Who started it? I mean, obviously Assemblies of God, but who was the spearhead of that?
There was a lady by the name of Gladys Henson, and she's got a fascinating story. She was a single woman in the 40s that felt called to missions.
Oh, wow.
And she wanted to go overseas and start an orphanage in China. And she pushed and pushed to get the Assemblies of God to approve her to be a missionary and go over there and do that.
How old was she about?
She was in her 30s, early 30s.
So she was a young lady.
Yes, she was. Single woman.
Yeah.
And when they finally approved her, just a matter of weeks later, Pearl Harbor happened and pulled us into the war.
Yeah.
And so the Assemblies of God pulled all the passports for their missionaries and said, we're not doing that right now. And she went back to prayer and said, Lord, you called me to missions. You called me to open an orphanage. What do I do? And the Lord said, well, China was your idea. My idea was orphanage. And so she opened a children's home right there in Hot Springs at that time.
Where was it located?
Same place.
Really?
Yeah. In fact, if you're ever in that area, there's a stoplight right in front of our street, our Malvern Avenue address there, Carpenter Dam, dead ends there. And you're looking right at the original children's home, little brick building, and it sits on the crest of a hill right there in front. That's where it got the name Hillcrest.
Ah, well, I'll be. I've been by there hundreds of times because occasionally I go to Jose's to eat.
Oh, yeah.
And I live in Hot Springs, so I'm by Hillcrest or Compact. So the name Compact, what does that represent?
It's two words pushed together, compassion and action, and that's where Compact comes from.
Well, I'll be.
We believe that if faith without works is dead, compassion without action is meaningless.
Yeah, I say it kind of similarly. One of my periphrases, faith without blisters is dead. A lot of great philosophers in the body of Christ, they all have an answer and a way of doing, but unless you're doing it, even James, penning by the Holy Ghost, he said, if you're a hearer and not a doer, you deceive yourself. You can't even blame that on the devil.
That's right. Exactly.
So
right.
You're married, and you have how many kids?
My wife and I have 5 children, and they range from 24 all the way down to 2.
2 to 24. What were y'all thinking? 2 years old. You got a 2-year-old.
Yeah, we do.
So name off their approximate ages. I don't put you too bad on the spot.
2, 14, 17, 21, and 24.
Well, then that is going to prompt the follow-up question. The 2
on
and then
purpose,
14? So y'all just decided working at Compact with hundreds of young people, 4 is not enough.
Well, you know, when you're in my world, it's not even a question because they can come by birth or by adoption. All of ours, they did come by birth, but yeah.
How many children on any given day or young people are at Compact on the campus? And kind of give us a diversity of the ministry, because y'all do a lot of the same things we do at Second Chance Youth Ranch, and we want people to get involved and contact y'all and support it, give, pray, support, call you, take a tour, and volunteer. Yeah. So kind of give you the age range, the demographic, and the various types of ministries y'all are providing right there on campus.
You know, as you know, with Second Chance Youth Ranch, there's been massive evolution over the years of what we would call residential child care. So we've, you know, back in the day, it was just a church orphanage. You could just take whatever you needed to take. If a kid needed a home, you just brought them in. In fact, Gladys Henson's got some stories of the day they would ring the doorbell and go to the door, and there'd be nobody there but a baby in a shoebox, and take that baby in and raise it. We've got those stories in our history. But in recent years, you know, government regulations and oversight.
We're from the government. We're here to help.
We're here to help. And Ronald Reagan said those are the most dangerous words. Yeah. Well, all of those things are considered trends and forces that have really driven a more community-based approach. And so Compact, in our response to that, our residential program, we chose years ago when the Family First Preventive Services Act came out in 2017, we chose to pivot to more the children that really had the higher need, the higher acuity of need. we chose to pivot our residential program to cater to that population.
Which means you have a staff with children even over through the night, not just foster parents, but staff that's providing care.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Family style care, so they
Yeah.
function as much like a family as possible. But the type of children we serve really have had, some of those children on our campus have had 30, 35 placements.
Yeah.
So they've just bounced around through the system. And we try to capture them and love on them and stabilize them and show them the love
Approximately how
of
many
Christ.
on campus today?
Well, that's what I was getting ready to say. That number has gone way down because of that.
Yeah.
We'll take care of as many as 30 on our campus, where in years past it'd be over 100.
Yeah.
So with the higher acuity, we keep the staff to child ratio a little lower that way.
Yeah, somebody had a great idea. That's a little tongue-in-cheek. What y'all are doing and almost all faith-based organizations, frankly, what y'all are doing needs to be changed. And by doing that, y'all went from 100 children you were able to serve and provide loving care to under 40 now.
Well, yes, but the other side of that is we also were sensing at the same time that the church needed to be more involved directly.
Yeah, directly.
Years ago, the answer was an indirect involvement. We'll
Yeah.
send money or staff or goods and
We'll
services.
pay y'all to do it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can I tongue-in-cheek? We'll outsource our spirituality to paid professionals. We'll send money and resources. So today, we've secured what we do at Hillcrest and sort of specialized it.
Yeah.
But now we've pivoted, much as Second Chance Youth Ranch has.
Yeah.
We're recruiting in churches to find what we call families on mission,
Yeah.
family missionaries.
Community families is what we call
Absolutely.
them. Yeah.
Foster families out there in the community that can answer the crisis in their own backyard.
So let's address that with our audience. If you're watching right now, there are organizations like Compact, Second Chance Youth Ranch, Baptist Home, and many others around the state that need your prayers, financial support, and more than anything, they need you. Yeah. These young people need you. We're going to take a break and look at some children waiting for a forever family, and we'll be right back.
When I was 9, I got in foster care. Last year, I got adopted and got back in because I felt like the family that I was at, which is my cousin, wasn't really meant for me. So I chose to come back and be in foster care because this is all I know. My name is 2CYR and I'm 17 years old. I like to play softball. I like to play basketball. I like to do hair. When I grow up and turn 21, I would like to have my own business. I want a hair salon, and I want clothes in my hair salon. So I want side of it to be clothes, shoes of my what I make. And then I want a nail salon in it. Then I want my own beauty, like hair, cosmetology. I would like a family who's gonna care about me, who's gonna love me for who I am, who's gonna take me places, who's gonna do what they need to do to be there for me. Life would be different because I wouldn't have to go from home to home, and I would be who I want to be, and nobody would have to judge me for what I did in the past.
If you won the lottery, what would you do with all the money?
I would help homeless people and make sure they get back on their feet. And I would want everybody to know that everybody deserves a second chance. I want to be adopted because when I turn 18, I won't have nowhere to go. I won't have no family to go to. So if I get adopted, I will have a new start. I would be with a new family. That's not gonna treat me how my family treat me. I stay hopeful because I know that if ain't nobody else gonna have me, I will always have myself. Family is everything to me.
Can you explain that some more?
Basically, I've been wanting a family since I was 9 years old. I've been wanting a family since I seen my other siblings get adopted. I've been wanting a family since my mom and my dad gave up on me.
Hey, welcome back to Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. This is our very special guest, Lance Nelson. I had to look at your name because I have a friend named Lance Gregory, and I keep, Lance Nelson with Compact, the Assembly of God Ministry in Hot Springs in Garland County, changing lives every day. And not only, Lance, do you have the honor and privilege to serve there, your wife Lindsay's serving there.
She does.
And therefore, because y'all are a family of 7 with 5 beautiful children from 2 to 24 years old, I know your children must be involved.
Yeah.
Tell me, what does your wife do, and what kind of services that we'll be talking off of camera that we want to address that people can get involved in?
So we were approached by the state of Arkansas a couple of years ago to ask if we would be willing to help families who are what they call kinship families. So these families have been identified by the state already as maybe an appropriate placement for a niece or a nephew or a grandson or whatever. And so those families, the state opens them as a foster home, a provisional foster home.
Because all of us, including the state, we really want the children to be restored to their family.
Ideally,
as close to mom and dad, uncle, aunt, grandpa, grandma.
Absolutely.
And that program is the program your wife's deeply involved in.
Yeah, and so they send those families to us and they ask us if we would support them, help them, plug them into a local church when appropriate, when they're willing. And so that's a program we've seen a lot of fruit out of.
So do y'all have chapel on campus? What about Sunday? The residential parents, did they take the children to whatever church they attend, or do y'all go to a particular church?
Yeah, all of our children attend church, whether they're in a foster home, those families all attend church. They were recruited out of a local church supported by the church, or the residential program, the Hillcrest children, they all attend church as well.
Do they go to Legacy on Central or on Central Avenue down by the mall?
Many of them go to
Lakeside?
Legacy. We have some that attend church at Lakeview as well.
Lakeview.
So over the years they've been plugged in at various churches, but every Sunday they go to church. We also do have chapel, but that chapel service is typically on Wednesday morning, and it's for staff.
I got you.
But when kids are out of school, they're involved in that as well.
I lived at the Methodist home. We had Vespers. I think it was at 5 or 5:30 on Sunday night in the chapel. There were about 110 kids back in that day. I was 14, 15, 16, 17 at the Methodist Children's Home.
Okay.
And we attended a Methodist church on Fair Park, and occasionally some of us guys, they gave us sport coats and we got to usher. They tried to get us to participate. So there's a lot going on at Hillcrest that are making a difference. Yeah. But faith plays a major role in your personal life and in your ministry and in the life of the young people entrusted to the care at Compact. Yeah. But you attend a church right across from the Hot Springs Mall. Name of the church, pastor, service times, all that stuff?
Oh yeah, so my home-based church is Lakeview Assembly of God. Now my ministry pulls me away a lot where I'm traveling and ministering and speaking and engaging churches, but when I'm not on the road, Lakeview Assembly, that's where I'm plugged in. Yeah. And the pastor there is Matthew Stevenson. He's been there about 5 years. And we're witnessing an absolute move of God in that church.
You said that when he came there 5 years ago, and I have best friends that attend that church, there were about 70 folks.
Yeah, 70 folks on his first Sunday, and this past Sunday, Easter Sunday, there were 902.
Where'd you park them? In the mall?
Well, unfortunately, we weren't able to fit them all in the building, and we knew we wouldn't. Yeah. So we actually rented an off-site facility. We went over to Lakeside High School and rented their Performing Arts Center.
Oh, way to go. So that's a beautiful school, too.
Beautiful. A new facility there.
I drive by. They got that beautiful football field right there on Malvern Avenue.
We had an egg hunt on the football field afterwards.
Come on now.
Yeah, it was
Y'all
fun.
be searching for them pagan eggs? we call them, you know, because we're spiritual.
Yeah.
We call them multicolored plastic cylinders
Yeah.
with treasure.
Okay. a resurrection symbol, or
Yeah,
so, I don't
yeah.
know. We call them something else.
I posted a cartoon and it showed the stone rolled away. The napkins and the cloths of Jesus in the tomb is empty, and underneath the stone is the ears of a rabbit and his little pot cotton tail.
Under the stone, that's
yeah,
funny.
because the stone has been rolled
It
away.
has,
And Jesus is the reason, though, isn't he?
Absolutely.
But our kids, they love hunting for those treasures, don't they? And
when there's candy involved.
But God's doing something major. You've gone from 70 and in 5 years to hundreds.
Well, I attribute that, and this relates to what we're talking about here today. I really attribute a huge part of that growth is that church is all in on redemption.
Yeah.
They were an early adopter for our foster care support model.
Yeah.
So they support. One Sunday I looked around and I saw down at the front in that church, I saw foster families worshiping with their children.
Yeah.
I saw families that had gotten their kids back from foster care worshiping. Yeah. I saw former topless dancers. I saw former drug addicts. I saw a homeless guy down there. This was all in one view across the
Yeah.
front worshiping.
Yeah.
And when you're all in on redemption, then God's all in on you.
That'll put a tear in your eye right there.
I'm telling you. It did mine.
Yeah, God is moving. We have made it through the fear-mongering of COVID, and not to knock some of the legitimate deaths and tragedies that happened, and people are now out and about. And because of the chaos that's in the world, they're looking for hope. And faith is the substance of things hoped for. And that hope and that faith is only found in Jesus Christ. I tell you what, why don't you contact Compact, and y'all have a website. What is that?
Compact.family.
So
That throws some
Compact,
people off because it's not .com, it's .family.
It's .family. COMPACT.
That's right.
.family.
.family.
And they can find out all the details.
Everything. All of our programs are there. We didn't even talk about a third of our programs.
Yeah.
We have all sorts of different ministries and programs, from adoption to foster care to prevention to keeping kids in their families, and all of that. It's all there.
So you're needed. What if somebody wanted to volunteer right there on the campus? We got about 50 seconds here as we close the show. There's a way they can go online, get the phone number, call y'all, and go through some sort of a process to be approved or to serve in the community?
Absolutely. We have ways that they can go through a vetting process to be approved for hosting a child in their home. We can teach them how to run the ministry in their local church. That we have a resource center, like a mall. We call it our mall, set up where they can come in and shop for clothes, and that always needs volunteers. We need volunteers for our grounds. We've got 50 acres there that have to be taken care of, and we got a maintenance team that helps. But
so there's always something for somebody to do, and there's a child waiting for your gift of prayer, financial support, or service. God bless you. Thanks for watching the show. We'll see you next week right here at Second Chance Youth Ranch TV. Bye-bye.